So you're saying there's a chance?
Having confidence can be a complete game changer for your business. Listen to today's episode to discover how Dumb and Dumber can help increase your confidence so that you can accomplish your goals. Lady bosses, are you working even after putting the kids to bed but still not getting results?
Are you tired of spending money on ads that aren't getting engagement?
Do you feel burdened that you aren't fulfilling your purpose in life because you are so consumed with work?
I'm your host, Brooke Boltz. I'm an attorney and founder of Boltz Legal. I started my business and in 1 year was bringing in 7 figures and am now bringing in multi-7 figures.
And I'm your co-host, Rachel Boltz, owner of Boltz Media. I've helped many businesses build their online presence and increase their revenue through digital marketing.
Want to hear how we did it?
We are here to help you achieve your goals personally, professionally, and spiritually.
So kick off your high heels, sit back, and let's ignite that passion.
We're Miss Biz, where we're putting the Miss in biz.
Let's get biz done. Confidence is key. I have become fascinated with the topic of confidence in the last month or so because I've been observing my daughters play basketball, and it is just amazing to me how they can play great on a day that they feel confident and feel terrible on a day that they feel less confident. And so I've been just studying and researching and looking inwards at myself to try to identify those things that help us to build confidence so that we can perform at our best. What initially happened that brought this to mind for me is my youngest daughter, Leia, was playing on a basketball team for her middle school. And she's been on this team for the whole school year. However, she was a 6th grader. And so there kind of is a philosophy that 6th graders just are mostly bench warmers. And they get a little bit of playing time, but not a whole lot. And the team doesn't really invest a whole lot of time into teaching them the plays and really giving them a lot of playing time. So as a 6th grader, she just didn't really have a whole lot of confidence in her ability to play basketball on this particular team. So now summertime has come and she's being treated like a 7th grader because some of the incoming 5th graders have moved up to 6th grade, and now she's being treated like a 7th grader, and so she's now starting in the summer league. And she needs to have confidence built up, but she doesn't because all year long she's only been playing a couple minutes per game. So she comes into the game and she has a lot of practice time outside of this, and I know that she can shoot the ball. You've seen her.
She's very good.
She can shoot the ball and she has a great shot. And in this game, she is not shooting the ball. She's dribbling and she's passing to girls who also don't have their confidence built up. So a lot of times they're not catching the passes and they're just not having a good game at all. And every time she looks at me on the sidelines, I'm saying, shoot the ball, shoot the ball. Yes, I am one of those parents. I try to restrain it as much as I can, but I'm cheerleading for them and encouraging them. But also I'm telling her, shoot that ball. And she mouths back to me, I can't. Every time. She just goes, I can't do it.
That must break your heart. Seeing that.
Well,
because you know what she's capable of.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying, I go back to her, yes, you can. Do it. Just do it. And so 3 quarters have passed into the game. She hasn't made a single shot. She attempted maybe 1 or 2, but they were such far shots that it was like a really low % chance she was going to make these shots. So she'd made no shots and she'd attempted maybe 1 or 2. So the 4th quarter of the game, after 3/4 of me telling her, shoot the ball, she finally shoots the ball from a distance that is a reasonable amount of distance, and she makes it. And when she makes that shot, her jaw drops. She gets this huge smile. She looks over at me, and I said, great job, keep doing it. And then in that last quarter of the game, she scored 3 more baskets for a total of 8 points in 1 quarter, which is the most points she's ever scored in a game for this team. Because as I said, she was a bench warmer pretty much for the whole school year.
Do you remember what the total game score was?
Yeah, I think her whole team only scored 14 points in the whole game.
So she made more than half the points.
Yes, in 1 quarter. So if she would have been shooting the ball the whole
She would have
game,
creamed him.
she would have gotten, well, yeah, I don't know if we would have won the game because it was a great team we were up against, but we would have for sure had more points
Right.
than we did. It would have been a closer game. So I was just like so fascinated by watching the difference from that moment she made a shot and how it changed her actions and her success from that moment on, and started trying to apply it to our lives and our businesses, and how we can build that same confidence to go out and be successful. And the first thing that I came to is that you just have to have one success. If you get that one client, your first client, if you get the first client, you are that much more confident looking for your second client. Do you remember getting your first client?
Yes, it is so true because you know that you're capable of doing it. I remember what was really difficult for me was when I first started working for you and I knew nothing about the law. And here I am, like Blondie over here, meeting with all these like different experts in the industry. And I'm like, I don't know anything about the law. Like I was frightened, at least like with my clients, like I know what I'm doing there. But like with yours, I had no idea. And the very first person I'll never forget, like they believed in me. Of course, I was frantically teamsing you the entire time, like asking you very specific questions, but it gave me the confidence to know, okay, so maybe I don't have to be the most knowledgeable, you know, just the fact that they know, like, and trust me, they're going to want to do business. So yes, that one experience made a huge difference.
The first win can create the momentum for you to have more wins because of the confidence that it builds. So if you haven't had a win, or you haven't had a win in a long time, because if it's been a long time, you can kind of go backwards.
That's true too.
And lose your confidence as well. If Leia would have started making shots and missing them, her confidence would have gone right back down. But having that first win is a goal you can set your mind on, is I just need to have one win, rather than thinking I need to make $1 million this year, or I need to have 5,000 clients, or I need to do whatever. If you can focus just on I need to get one win, because after that one win I will have the confidence to go get more wins, I think that mindset shift can help you. So the next thing that I read regarding confidence that I thought was really impactful is focusing on your strengths more than your weaknesses. Something I read was you should focus 80% of your time on your strengths and 20% of your time on your weaknesses. And that was a little different.
Yeah, because you would think that you would want to spend that time sharpening those different characteristics or aspects that are making you weak,
yes,
instead of just focusing 100% on amplifying your strengths.
And you do want to spend time on your weaknesses, 20%. But if you're only spending time on your weaknesses, then you're constantly feeling like I'm not good enough, because you're constantly looking at what you're bad at. But if you're spending 80% of your time getting even stronger on your strengths, then you then you are building your confidence. And using the same sports analogy, if you're playing against teams who are way better than you all of the time, you're going to think, I'm a terrible player.
Yes.
But if 80% of the time you're playing against opponents who are worse than you and you're winning, then that 20% of the time when you go up against the harder opponents, you're going to have the confidence built because you're used to winning and dominating, and you're going to go onto that court as a winner with a winning attitude and a winning confidence level. So I thought that was interesting, to spend the majority of your time focusing on your strengths when it comes to confidence. You can't just ignore the weaknesses forever. You do dedicate some time to that. But until you get to a place of confidence, you got to focus on your strengths too.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
So the next key to building confidence is repetition. And there's this rule called the 10,000 rule, which means if you do something 10,000 times, then you'll be confident to do it.
Oh, just 10,000 times. So no problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yes, it's a lot of times. And sometimes, depending on the task, it may not take 10,000 times to build your confidence. But that's the rule, 10,000 times. So, hey,
I don't like that rule.
I'm going to need to...
That's a lot.
I'm going to need to start curling my hair 10,000 times.
You have no hair left.
Rachel saved the day last week for me, by the way. I attempted to curl my own hair and looked like a chia pet, and so she fixed it. But yeah, I don't know how to curl my hair. I don't have confidence in that. That's just kind of a silly example, but doing it applies a lot in sports. If you think about, I can't shoot a three-pointer, and once you shoot 100 three-pointers or attempted three-pointers, then you shoot 200 and 300. By the time you get to 10,000, you're not only going to be better at it, but your confidence is going to be much higher because you know that you have that skill. You have the muscle memory and the mental ability to believe in yourself that you can do it again if you've done it that many times before.
So I need to attempt more times to squash a watermelon with my quads. 10,000 times?
Yeah, 10,000. How many days is that?
That's a lot of watermelons. I don't know. That's too much math right now.
Yes. But the other thing is, someone told my daughter the other day that if she dribbled 18 minutes a day for I don't know how many days, but 18 minutes a day every day, that she would become better at dribbling than 95% of the world. And I think a big reason for that is that just nobody is going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to do it for a little while, and then they're going to fall off, and they're not going to stay consistent with it. So, and he said that. He said if you miss a day, then you got to start over, and you got to keep going, because you got to work harder and do more hours than everybody else. And instead of 18 minutes a day, you might now have to do 30 minutes a day because you missed some days. So it's that consistency of doing it over and over puts you ahead of the competition who's not willing to work that hard or do it that many times. And it also in turn builds your confidence. Do you love the Miss Biz podcast?
Because we love you.
Here's 3 things you can do to show your support.
1, write us a review. Apple or Spotify are the best platforms for reviews.
2, join us for our free Friday Zoom calls at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. To RSVP, go to MissBiz.com homepage, scroll down to Miss Biz Connects, and click the link.
3, follow us on social media. Our handle is at Miss Biz Podcast.
As always, thank you for your support. But one of the things that I realized in this is that doing it 10,000 times in a game per se isn't always feasible because of your fear of failure. And so what I put into place with my daughters is to do it first in a lower stake environment. So for example, in the game, so we're going to switch daughters now and talk about my daughter Lila. She is a point guard and she's good at dribbling. And she knows how to do some of these tricky things where they go between the legs and stuff like that. But she never does it in a game. And I asked her, how come you never do those tricks in the game? And it's because she's afraid if she messes it up that the coach is going to pull her out of the game. So the stakes are too high to do it in a game. Even though she can do it elsewhere, in a game, she's afraid. She won't do it. And I tried to, so I gave her an incentive. Okay, if you do it in a game, you can get this, whatever. Give her an incentive. Didn't work. Stakes were still too high. She was still more afraid of messing up than what that reward was. So then I said, okay, forget the game. If you do it in a scrimmage, which is like a pretend game if you're not a sports person, it's like a practice game. If you do it in a scrimmage, then you can have a reward if you successfully do it in a scrimmage. So we're at the scrimmage. Still, she didn't do it. Did not do it. She was too afraid of messing it up. So then I had to lower the stakes more, and she had to do it at home for me, which ended up in me getting headbutted in the face. But that's another rabbit trail. So at home, she had to do her little trick and get around me, and we did it over and over and over one night. So that built her confidence. Just doing it at home, where the only person who could see her fail was me, and she didn't even fail. She did great at it. So once she built her confidence just going against me at home, then she did it at the scrimmage. And we haven't had another game yet. Actually, she did do it at the game. She played in Leia's game last week, and she did it in the game too. So then she was able to move up from doing it at home to doing it in the scrimmage to doing it in a game. And so her confidence was built by lowering the stakes and practicing it in a way that you can't fail. So applying that to your business. If the stakes are too high to go meet with the president of the hospital that you want to get as a client, start lower.
That's such a great point. I remember when I first started out with public speaking, I was absolutely terrified. And so without even having this system in place, I would practice at home with my kids, and then because you're probably not going to have 10,000 speaking engagement opportunities, at least not for a while, by the time you really need to be good at it.
Right.
So just like you said, lowering the stakes, that is huge to being able to get comfortable at doing it and gain the confidence that you need to be able to naturally progress.
Yes, exactly. So whatever it is that you ultimately want to accomplish, that you're not confident enough to just go and take that meeting or ask for that meeting with that big executive that you want to bring in as a client, start lower. And it may have to be with a friend or a family member where you're role playing and they're giving back to you objections and they're arguing with you about why they don't need this. And doing that role play with someone that you trust and isn't going to judge you and is going to help you, that is a great way to start building your confidence, and then go a little bit higher. Then go to the small business person that you want to approach, and then you work your way up. And eventually, as you do it all these times, you will be ready and confident to take on that big executive that you're trying to prospect. So, next thing about confidence. Persistence. The definition of persistence is refusing to accept failure.
I love that.
And I think, too, that is a mindset as well, that if you tell yourself, I am not going to allow myself to fail, I am going to keep doing this until I am successful at it, you will be successful quicker than if you have the mindset of, yeah, I'm probably not gonna I'm going to try, but I'm probably not going to do very well at it. I'm probably not going to stick to it. Like, if you don't have that attitude of persistence, I think about it when it comes to my diet. I'm notoriously terrible at eating on the weekends. And I make excuses for myself all the time that, oh, it's the weekend and I'm not going to do good at the weekend. I'm just setting myself up to do poorly on the weekend because my mind is telling me I'm going to do poorly on the weekend. But if I simply had the persistence that I will not fail this weekend, I don't care what party I go to or what event I go to, that I will not fail. I will not eat these things that I shouldn't be eating.
You definitely make better choices.
Oh, 100%. I could do it. I know that I could, but I don't, because I just allow myself to accept my own excuses. And when someone's doing that in business, I recognize it. And I listen to them giving excuse after excuse. And I think in my mind, until they change that attitude and get to a place of persistence and refusing to accept failure and not accepting any excuses, then there's nothing I can do to help them. Because they have to believe in themselves and have the confidence. And it takes a while to build to that. But you first have to put away the excuses and set your mind on the fact that you will succeed.
Yeah, I think kind of like a subcategory of this mindset aspect that you're talking about would be where like your affirmations come into place, where you're telling yourself that good things, that you can do this and it's going to be accomplished. Whereas if you're doing the other thing where you're beating yourself up all the time, like, oh, I'm not going to pass this test, it's too hard. Like, you've already basically written the story at that point because you don't believe in yourself. I used to do that all the time. I'd be like, I'm getting straight A's. I haven't studied, but I'm getting straight A's and I'm going to do well. And that's how I would psych myself out, because I didn't fully have that confidence that I was going to be able to get an A. I knew I would pass, but I didn't know I would get an A. But I would just keep telling myself that. And by golly, if it didn't work, I mean, seriously. So mindset is huge, whether you believe in yourself or not.
Yes. And a great example of someone with persistence is none other than Dumb and Dumber.
I love that movie so much.
So you're saying there's a chance. I just love that saying, because just for those of you who may not have seen it, there is a pretty girl that one of the characters, I forget.
She's an agent.
Yeah, but Jim Carrey, do you remember his name? Like his character's name?
I don't.
So Jim Carrey is the actor who's really interested in this beautiful girl, and he is like nerd of the century, like unattractive, just like broke as a joke, has nothing to offer her. And he comes up to her and says, what are the chances that you would want to date a guy like me? And she says something like, the chances are 1 in 20 billion or something like that. And he goes, so you're saying there's a chance? And so he took that, what was really intended to be a really negative,
yes,
like it's not happening, dude, and focused on that one,
yeah, that
very small percent. And he thought that was great news, that there was
Perception.
a chance. There was a chance. And then, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, he ends up getting the girl down the road. So he was focused on...
He had his eye on the prize.
Yes, and he was persistent, and he was refusing to accept failure. And no matter how much she rejected him, over
yeah, it was constant. It was throughout.
Oh, she rejected him so many times, and so many of us, myself included, we get that one rejection, and we're down in the dumps for 3 weeks till we can get over it. But not Jim Carrey, boy. Like he just took every rejection and turned it into something positive that kept spurring him on to pursue the prize. And he succeeded. So
such a good movie.
Lessons to be learned from Dumb and Dumber. So the next thing is, if you don't program your own mind, then it will program you. So you have to be aware of what you're putting into your mind and protect it and guard it so that it is staying focused on good and positive things. And the things that affect your mind the most or significantly are the news and your peer group. So the news, we know, is notoriously negative, and if you find yourself listening to negative news all the time, then you're going to start having more fears because you're hearing all these things that are happening. Now, not to say that there's no value in the news, but if you're filling your mind with negative news all the time, you're going to start to think in that way because that's what you're feeding your mind. In the same way, if you have a negative peer group who isn't someone who inspires you, they're not people who are active, proactive winners, and they're complacent and not really goal oriented, then you're gonna, the saying goes, you're gonna become like those you spend your time with. So you have to guard your mind against the things you don't want to be and feed your mind the things you do want to be. Watching YouTube videos of positivity, watching news that is positive focused, reading the Word, reading devotionals, reading inspirational books, and self improvement books. All of those things are going to feed your mind healthy and positive things that are going to help increase your confidence.
I think a lot of times people think that, well, I can control that. But really, if it continues to be a habit, it's going to rub off on you 100%. I saw this firsthand years ago. I used to watch Forensic Files before I went to bed because I don't know what it is, but the narrator's voice is incredibly soothing. So I would turn it on because it was like the only thing on that late at night, and I would listen to it. Well, after a while, I started having all these messed up dreams, and I'm like, why am I having so many weird nightmares? And then like it clicked with me one day. I was like, oh, well, duh, Rachel, you idiot. You're watching Forensic Files before you go to bed. So it is so true that what you expose yourself to will eventually start manifesting itself into your life.
Yes. I did something similar, not that particular show, but I used to like to watch some of those true crime shows, and I then found myself getting fearful if I was home by myself and like double, triple checking all the locks and like being afraid to be home by myself, or just having these fears that I never used to have because I'm envisioning being attacked like some of these shows. And even as I'm sitting here right now recalling these shows, there's still one particular show that still stands out in my mind where someone broke in and murdered a family and all these things that is like imprinted on my mind forever. It's not as if I watched it and it went in one ear and out the other. Like now, years and years later, I still can envision that scene as if I watched it yesterday.
Right.
Because the things we put into our mind stay there. Some things we lose, we don't retain.
But if it makes an impact and an impression, then that kind of becomes part of who you are and what you believe.
And especially if you're doing it all the time. Just like the 10,000 rule to gain confidence, it would apply to taking weight confidence as well. That if you're feeding those negative things that aren't boosting your confidence and mindset, then it's going to bring you down as well. So just be aware of what are you putting into your mind. Your mind is to be guarded and protected in the same way that the Bible says to guard your heart. You have to also guard your mind and guard your thoughts. And so just be aware of the things that you're putting in.
Skincare for aging and little black dresses, obedient children who clean up the messes, high heels and purses and chocolate galore. Louis Vuitton is our favorite store. If you want to increase your water intake, I highly recommend the Build Life gallon water jugs. It comes with inspirational messages to keep you drinking water throughout the day, as well as a time frame, so you know if you're on point.
So next is that, and this comes from Mel Robbins. Mel Robbins, if you're not familiar with her, is a podcast host who is wildly popular and has a huge following. And she actually studied this topic of confidence as well and had an episode I listened to on it. And something she said that really stuck with me is that confidence is the willingness to try. And going back to the basketball example, she may wanted to have scored points, but if she wasn't willing to take that shot, she never would have scored a point and then had the confidence to do it again.
Right.
So step one is just being willing to try. And those first 3 quarters, she wasn't willing to try. She just kept saying, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. She didn't want to be perceived to be a ball hog. She didn't want to be perceived as not being a team player. She didn't want to miss and get taken out of the game. There's all these fears that our mind tells us that we have to set aside and take control over those negative self-talk and just try.
Yeah, and honestly, I think this may be the most difficult out of all of them. Just to go out and do it and take that risk, especially the first time. It can be quite scary, but you know, it's like what they say, like 80% of success is just showing up, right? It's kind of similar in this regard as well. Like, just try. Like, what's the worst that could happen?
Yes. And another thing, I think this might have come from Mel Robbins. I can't remember. I got things from a lot of different resources, but she, one of the things I read was so many times our fears come from being afraid to not be liked. Even going back to middle school was probably where it was the most predominant in my life, was I wanted people to like me. And then growing into adulthood, I wanted the same. I don't want people to say negative things about me or think negative things about me. I want to have a good reputation and I want people to like me, right? But what needs to change is that you should want to be respected more than liked. So you have to recognize some people aren't going to like you. Some people might say mean things. But if you have respect, that is what is more important than being liked.
Correct. It all goes back to those 2 basic fears, is fear of rejection and fear of failure.
Yes. So another tip and thing you can do, my aunt is one of the most positive and affirming people in my life, and she sent me an email this week that just was building me up, just saying she was proud of me and just pointing out things that she appreciated about me. And so I saved that email, you know, and when you have people who write good reviews for you or whatever it may be, whenever there's something positive, whether it's a text message or an email or something positive that people say to you, save those things and put them in a folder and go back to them and read them on a regular basis, because we have to be constantly reminding ourselves of the good things that we have accomplished and the good things that people believe about us, because our minds want to constantly be telling us the things we're not good at. I don't know why that is. I don't know why our minds always want to tell us what we're not good at.
What was it about when we did our episode about mindset? You pulled that stat that said like 80% of our thoughts are negative.
Yes.
Or something to that extent.
Yes.
So.
And then we think the same thoughts over and over.
Yes. That is crazy to me, but I love that point that you brought up, because I can't tell you how many times I've had a really bad day at work and almost felt like started questioning myself about it. And then I read those reviews and it just like totally flips it and is like, okay, that's the reason why I do what I do, or that's the reason why, I know I'm called to do this.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And if you don't have a whole list of things that people have sent to you, then make your own list. Mm-hmm. When you have a win, write it down. I am good at X because of Y. Write your own list of the things that you value about yourself,
Great point.
that are good. And over time, as people send you things or you start to get reviews, you'll have more to add to that. But in the beginning, just make your own list of the things that you're proud of about yourself, that you like about yourself. And also, too, remind yourself that in our weaknesses, He is strong. Mm-hmm. And you can always gain confidence from knowing that the Lord has your back and that He's giving you strength even when you don't feel like you're the best person for the job or have all the skills. And right. Remember that He uses the people who are humble, who don't always seem like the picture perfect person who would have rationally been selected
yes.
for that task. So also reading the Word is another way to gain confidence, not just in yourself, but in your Maker, who also equips those people that He calls to a certain purpose and will see you through even if you don't think you can.
And praying helps tremendously too. Just giving it to God. There is something so uplifting when you can truly lift your burdens up and give it to God. It is so freeing. And you'll notice that when you do that, a lot of things will start changing in your life. A lot of those negativities will go away.
Mm-hmm. Another thing, I think Mel Robbins said this, is that when you try, remember, confidence is just the willingness to try. You're either going to be terrible at it or you're going to be good at it. But either way, you learn something each time. Mm-hmm. So, going back to the sports example, if you're trying to shoot a three-pointer and the ball's not getting far enough, then okay, next time I need to push it a little harder. And if it goes too far to the left, then I need to shift a little bit to the right. And so you're learning. Each time you miss, you're learning how to do it a little bit better the next time. So again, this is why repetition works, but it's also why just taking that first step to try is key. And just keeping that goal of, I just need one win. I just need one win. And then it will be that much easier to keep going. So you can lose your confidence too, and that usually happens because you stop trying.
Right.
You stop trying. If you stop trying, then that win is going to wear off eventually, and you're going to go back to thinking you can't do it. So to regain it, you just got to start trying again.
Yep.
Repeating again, doing it more. So here's just a few things that you can do, tools to help build your confidence as a skill. One is just taking action.
Just do it.
Just do it. Just try. And one of the tools that Mel Robbins talks about to do that is, she calls it the 5-second rule, where you want to do something. It's like jumping into the cold pool. You count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you jump. So if you adopt that rule in business and you need to make a cold call that you're nervous to make and you're putting it off, or calling that disgruntled client and you really don't want to deal with it, but you know you have to, and you count down, 5-second rule, and then do it.
Okay.
Something she suggests. So another thing I thought that was interesting is creating an alter ego. And this, when I heard this, I thought of a show that I've watched, embarrassed to say, but Married at First Sight. I love that show. I don't think you've watched.
Is that a reality show?
Yeah, where they get married and they've never seen each other.
Yes. Is that the one by, what was it? The boy band? Is it Nick Lachey?
Oh, as the host?
I think so.
I don't know if he's the host of this one. He's the host of a lot of those shows, though. So it's basically...
that was Love is Blind.
Yes, and he's a host of another one like that, too. He's a host of a few of them. But this one, they don't really have a host, per se. They have these experts who are, like, one's a pastor, like, different counselors in different fields.
And they're
so
just, like, psychoanalyzing these people the entire time?
No. So, all right, so what they do is they interview hundreds of people in a city, and then they pick people they think are going to be good matches, and they pair them up and they meet at the altar as they're getting married. And then for, like, I don't know, 8 weeks, they're married, and then they decide, do they want to stay married or do they want to get divorced?
How was a pastor getting involved in all that?
I'm telling you, they make good matches. In fact, I might need to sign you up for the show. Because, I mean, they pick really good quality people who are usually really good matches. They don't all last in the long term, but they really, I mean, if you think about it, you're just meeting random people out there who you think are attractive at first and whatever. So you have an expert who's got thousands of options for you, and looking at your unique personality traits and trying to match you with someone else. I'm telling you, there's something to it. They probably end up picking a more quality person than we end up picking for ourselves a lot of the time. So anyways, I digress. So back to creating an alter ego. So there was this one girl who was one of the spouses on the show. Her name was Noi. And she was talking about her alter ego. So in her personality in general was pretty mellow and calm. But she had this alter ego that she called Noisy, that she would put on like a pink wig and go out dancing at the club, and she was just this complete party animal, which was the opposite of who she seemed to be in her day life. But becoming noisy and putting on that wig gave her that confidence to go just be a party animal. And it was like, okay, like we could do that in our business world, not necessarily be a party animal, but you put on your today I am boss lady.
Right.
And I'm going to go take some names and kick some tail. You know, you have that alter ego, whatever it is, give her a name. And when you need to get something done or you need to be confident, then that's who you are today. I am going to be this person, and I'm going to go this alter ego is confident.
Are you going to name your alter ego Becky?
No, I was thinking more B Money.
B Money? Oh, I like that. I like that.
That's a name I already go. Actually, it's in our Me Too video. I don't know if you saw the sign.
Yes.
It says B Money. So that was a name because I have another friend with the same name as me. And so as a joke, I had to come up. It was so hard to be called when they would call her name, and we didn't know who they were talking to. So I said, I'll just change my name to B Money. And it was kind of a joke, but now it's kind of...
it's your alter ego.
Now, yeah, I mean... That's my alter ego. So I had to decide, okay, B Money, what are the characteristics of B Money? She is confident, She is no nonsense. She gets things done. She is not controlled by fear.
Gangsta.
Yes. And whenever I have to do something, like say go to a court hearing or something where the stakes are high and I have a risk of losing, I put on that alter ego and step into that courtroom as a confident boss.
I used to do that too when I was in the band. I would.
What?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
because I had such a fear of like singing or speaking in front of anybody.
Oh,
So I would
that
have
band.
to come up with what band did you think
I was thinking
talking
like
about?
flute.
Oh,
Like
that would have been hilarious. No, that
Your
band,
rock band.
the rock band. So I would have like this whole thing where I would get into my alter ego. And my alter ego was the person that I kind of modeled after, which was Amy Lee from Evanescence. So I would get my Amy Lee hat on, and I would automatically feel like I had more confidence and I wouldn't be so scared.
I like
The
that.
flute.
Well, when you said band, I'm thinking like the school band, you know?
That's hilarious.
Like the clarinet or the flute. I'm like, all right, let's hear this alter ego. No, but that is such a good, and you even had an item being your, was it a hat, you said?
No, it wasn't a real hat. It wasn't a real hat. But one of the things that I would do is I would kind of not dress like her, but like I would kind of do my makeup like her. Like my band makeup was much different than my 9-to-5 makeup. So I would have like my makeup done a certain way. I had like the hype music playing. I would totally get into this role where I am going to try to, I mean, not copy her, but you know, I'm going to try to be like her because she was my role model.
Did you have a name for your alter ego?
I might have to tell you this when we're not recording.
Okay. Okay.
But great question. Great question. Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Meet our expert team at Miss Biz.
Whether you need help with business strategy, brand development, or digital marketing, we have a personalized one-on-one coaching program just for you.
And if you're looking for something more budget friendly, our group coaching services offer incredible value and the chance to learn alongside like-minded entrepreneurs.
Transform your business today. Visit missbiz.com and start your journey to success. So, yeah, so come up with your alter ego. It's fun. I think this is a big reason why video games even are so popular because people create their character, their avatar, and they can become someone different than the person they are in real life who they aren't always confident about. So use the alter ego to your benefit to help give you that confidence in times when you just aren't feeling it. Okay, next is being prepared. And this is so key. It is the difference between confidence and not confidence. And the best thing I can compare it to is when I go to a court hearing. I tend to over-prepare. I write an outline, I rehearse it, I say it out loud, I go over it and over it and over. I do legal research, I think about objections that might be raised. I think about what the other side is going to say. I think about questions the judge might ask. Like there's just so much time I spend to prepare for what might only be a 15-minute hearing. But when I go in there, I am confident because I know my stuff. In contrast, if I didn't do that, I would be a nervous wreck going in there. I would have no confidence. I'd be stumbling over my words. Things wouldn't be coming out in articulate ways, and it would have been a disaster. So being prepared, and even to the extent of over-preparing, will always serve you well in whatever context, whether it be a sales meeting, like, for example, researching your prospect's website and looking at their social media pages to know what things they're interested in. I mean, those are ways you can be prepared for a sales meeting that can help build your confidence.
Yeah, and I mean, you can never be too prepared, but having that preparation, that can actually give you the confidence that you need to be able to do X, Y, and Z. So that is such a great point. And I love that you mentioned about getting to know who you're speaking with, because I do that all the time before I get in a call with someone. I already know so much about them and they have no idea. I've looked them up on social media. I've looked at their website. I've Googled them to find out as much information as possible so that I can make good choices with the words that I'm using, and how I'm communicating with them.
Yes. And that's impressive to a prospective client as well. I know I've had sales meetings where people were approaching me about a product or service, and when they know about me or my business, I am impressed by the fact that they did their research. And I'm much more open to whatever they may be presenting because they took that time
Right.
to learn a little bit about me and tailor their presentation to what they thought would be to my interest. So being prepared, doing that research, I think will always serve you well, and also help with your confidence.
I had somebody do that to me just a couple of days ago. They emailed me, and it was from the Miss Biz page, the Miss Biz website, but they emailed me and they said, "We love the Miss Biz podcast. We found episode X, Y, and Z to be very informative, especially when you discussed this." So they mentioned like something very, very specific. And that impressed me because it's like, okay, either they went on YouTube or they looked at the transcript, or like they really listened to this episode to be able to have this conversation. So it impresses people the more knowledge that you have.
I'll tell you, the first commercial that I ever did was because I got an email from someone where it was personalized about my billboard. It was the football billboard, and so he wrote something in the email about football. I can't remember what exactly he said, but it was something tailored to being about football, and he had copied and pasted a picture of my billboard into the email. And it was personalized, and he had done his research on me. And although I get emails all the time from people wanting me to advertise either in whatever space they may be selling, I never had responded to those, but I responded to his because I was impressed that he had done his research on me. So even though it takes more time to do that, and even though you're not going to necessarily be able to send out as many emails as in a day as you would if you were just copying and pasting the same template, for me, it's been more effective.
That's the whole quality versus quantity thing. It truly is. It makes a big difference. And I think that people can really tell if you know what you're talking about, or, you don't, or you're not prepared.
Right. So courage comes first before confidence. So you've got to have the courage to try some of these things to help build that courage so that you can then try. Sometimes you'll fail, sometimes you won't. Trying to get to that first win to where your confidence is built, and then you can just keep moving and snowballing your confidence from there.
And if you don't have the courage, tell yourself that you can do it. What's that famous quote that says, "Believe in yourself and you're halfway there"? It's so true. So just keep taking steps each and every day that will get you to the point where you can be fully confident and begin to take that first step. Isaiah 41:10, fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. We appreciate you and are honored to be on this journey with you. We can't wait to help you, to encourage you, and show you how to grow personally, professionally, and spiritually.
If you found Miss Biz helpful, please leave a review and share with others.
You can follow us on social media at Miss Biz Podcast.
For legal questions or services, please visit boltzlegal.com.
And for digital marketing needs, please visit boltzmedia.com. Let's get biz done.